We have a very special guest on today, Sepp Straka. Welcome to the podcast. I called Mookie earlier today, and I was like, "Can you re-explain you guys having to hit the fan once before, like whoever hit the fan last?"
Sure enough, I whiffed, and Mookie just freaking nails it. I'm not the most in shape guy, so run all the way out there, finally get there, touch it, and they have a cart, and they were gonna leave me out there. They were gonna let me.
All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the DawgLeg Show. This is Season 2, Episode 3. I'm Carter Loflin, and this is my co-host for the week, Buck Brumlow. Today's show, we did a lot of fun stuff. Really didn't have that much to talk about. We kind of just rambled on for a little bit, recapped our Hawaii trip, looked forward to our off season, and after we talked with you guys for a little bit, we had on our first guest of the year, Sepp Straka. So that was, got on a little Zoom interview with him, talked with him about the Ryder Cup and some, his UGA golf career, some different stuff like that. So tune in if you guys kind of want to hear his, pre-professional golf story and also just some funny stories from his Georgia golf days. But as always, make sure you guys hit that follow button, like and subscribe. YouTube and Spotify now at the DawgLeg Show. That is the DawgLeg Show at DAWG. That's DAWG, not just DOG. We're dog. So leave us a comment, send us some questions, send us ideas. If you guys want to have on here in the future, and we'll try to make it happen. So try to make it to the end of the episode. I think you guys will really like it. Enjoy. Well, really don't have that much today, to be completely honest with you, other than talking a little bit about our Hawaii trip. Closed our fall. So didn't play as good as we probably would have liked to. That tournament's always a little bit tougher for us, I think, just because it's the last one of the fall, and you do travel a lot to get there. So it I feel like it kind of feels a little bit more like a vacation at times than you're there to do like business compared to some of the other tournaments. But I don't know what your thoughts on that are. But
yeah, my body struggles with planes.
It does with me too.
The 12 hours sitting on a plane to get there is really not easy for me. And then being there for 3 days knowing that you have to fly 12 hours back, it kind of messes with me.
Which we sound really spoiled complaining about that because it is Hawaii. Yeah. And Hawaii's sick.
Hawaii's really cool.
And once you're there. Yeah, once you're there, it's like awesome. Yeah. It's an amazing spot to just hang out for 4 days. Mm-hmm. I try to explain that to people because they're like, people will be like, where are you going next? Because they know I've been out of class the entire fall. So whenever I get back into class, people are like, where have you been? Yeah. And I'll tell them, and whenever I say Hawaii, they're like, oh, that's really cool. I'm like, it is very cool.
And then they're like, oh, yeah.
But Hawaii. We're also there to play a golf tournament.
Yeah.
So it's not just like we go to Hawaii for vacation.
Yeah, it's a business trip.
It's a business trip at the end of the day.
It feels more like a vacation.
Yeah, we're not sitting on the beach drinking Mai Tais. Yeah. We're still there to play golf. So it's a little bit different. Yeah. But yeah, the whole entire plane thing, it's kind of a killer.
Yeah.
I don't normally, whenever I fly from East Coast to West Coast, I always have a much harder time. Whenever I'm flying anywhere else, it's fine. But when you're on a plane for 4 hours, whatever, or more, it can get pretty brutal. But that Hawaii flight really messes with your body because you get there and you basically have to, since you go 6 hours backwards, you have to stay up as late as you can that first day.
Yeah, you did a good job of that. I did not.
I'm fine with staying up late. And I found a silver lining with it because I was like, that just means I can drink coffee all day. So it was great because I could just sit on the flight. I had 7 cups of coffee and about 10:30 Hawaii time, which was, 4 in the morning or something, 4:30 in the morning. I was sitting upstairs with Hacker because we were waiting on Oklahoma to get there. Yeah. I was sitting upstairs with Hacker and we were watching the news, which seems to be the most popular thing to watch with them. Yeah. But we were watching the news and I was literally sitting there nodding off. We were watching some show on who the 5 best presidents were and who the 5 worst were.
Talking about that.
Yeah. It was pretty interesting. I just couldn't stop falling asleep. It was like, Loflin, you falling asleep on me? All of a sudden. But yeah. So, I mean, but once you're out there, it was great.
Yeah, we had a great time.
It's always a fun trip. We didn't, like we said, didn't play as well as we would have liked. Finished like 6th.
Yeah, that course has our number.
I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say it has our number. We were actually really close to playing great, like having a good finish. The thing is that leaderboard gets so packed at the end. Like I think we shot
like you played worse.
Yeah, we shot like 33 under for 3 rounds as a team.
Yeah.
Which isn't anything great for that golf. It's a lot of wedges. It's pretty open. Yeah. It's not, insanely difficult. Nothing about it's perfect, but the course itself is just,
it's a resort course.
It's a resort course. It's pretty straightforward.
We should tear it up.
You really should tear it up. But I mean, I think we were only we lost by 10, which sounds like a lot, but when you break that down to 4 guys counting, that's not very much at all.
Nothing. Yeah.
So it wasn't really, we weren't really that far off, and we were really close to finishing like 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we might have been like
a little better the last day.
Yeah.
Or the first day.
The second day and the first day, it didn't really blow that hard. None of us played great.
Yeah.
Buck and Cam, I think, and James led us that day, but there were people that first day that were out there shooting like 63, 64 across all teams. So we fell a little bit behind, but the second day when it got windy and it actually played harder, we played great. We had like the low score of the day.
Yeah, I think we shot 13 under.
Yeah.
Second day was low by 2.
Yeah. It is hard to separate yourself on the golf course.
Yeah.
Because
it's a shotgun start, so it's like really, and there's like 6 holes kind of like in a row that you have to play well.
Yes.
To succeed. And we started on those holes almost at least 2 out of the 3 days. So it's like you kind of,
the second day we had a good start.
Yeah.
Like we had a good starting point.
You have to come out of the gates firing, which is kind of a weird concept. I mean, obviously it's golf. You got to do that. But it's weird to know that you're starting on like the 5th hole and you have to birdie 5, 6, 7, 9, or you're losing shots on the field. Pretty
much. And it's also interesting because the golf course there is a par 71, but there's no par 5s on the back.
Yeah.
So there's
37, 34.
Yeah, it's par 37, par 34, which is odd because like if you start, like the last day, I think I started on like 4.
Yeah.
Which is a weird starting spot. Or I started on 5.
Yeah.
Which is probably the hardest hole in the front 9.
Yeah.
I mean, realistically, it's not, and it's still, like when you play in the morning, that's nice. You play that one without the wind, but.
Yeah, you started there and I was on 7, and it was the easiest hole I've ever played in my life. It's a 470-yard par 4, and I got it straight downwind. I had hybrid off the tee.
7 or 6?
No, on 4, where you started. That's where you said we
5.
started.
I started on 5.
Or 5, I mean.
Yeah. Is it 470?
Yeah, it says it's 470 on the scorecard.
Yeah.
I went hybrid lob wedge.
It plays very short.
Hit my hybrid 100 or 350 yards.
It's funny because that hole is shorter than the next hole. The next hole is a par 5. It's like a 460-yard par 5. But the whole entire golf course is built on the side of a hill.
Yeah.
So like you literally, it's just like a ginormous slope down. So you like go up the hill and then you come back down to finish.
Yeah,
so
thank God we were in carts, or I don't know if I would have made it.
Yeah. We were talking about that before the last round, actually. Like when we were sitting at breakfast, we stayed in a house with Oklahoma, and we were talking about it at breakfast. Like Hibble was like, do you think it would be better to walk this golf course? Do you think it would help pace of play? And we were like, no. Like there's always long waits because it's literally the max amount of teams you can fit on a golf course. I think there's like 22 teams there.
Yeah.
So it's literally the most teams you can fit on a golf course at once. You play foursomes. You're in carts. It's a shotgun start. So you wait. There's always a couple of really long waits on the golf course where you'll literally sit there and wait 30 or 40 minutes to get a shot twice a day.
And there's indies. There's like 140 people.
It's a huge event.
Yeah. Huge
like just people-wise, just so many people there. If we were walking, like it would probably spread that out a little bit more, but it would be just that course is such a tough walk.
Yeah.
Because you just be walking. I mean, most of the holes are straight uphill.
Yeah. And then like the gaps, like 6 to 7, like you have to cross like a main highway.
Yeah.
So
it's not
like half a mile.
It would not be a fun walk at all.
That would be brutal.
We shot that down pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it was funny when me and Buck, we had 2 practice rounds. The first day, we got there on Wednesday. The first practice round was on Thursday. Buck was like, I do not want to play 18 holes today. I'm like, well, we don't really have a choice. We're playing 18 holes. Everybody else kind of wanted to just play 9 too.
Yeah.
Like after talking to everybody, we were like, maybe you should just play 9 that day.
Yeah.
But it was funny because I was riding a cart with Buck, and obviously, like he said, he doesn't do very well with air travel and then getting out and playing. He was like, Pa, I can't do this. I can't play the day after. I get the shakes, man. Yeah. He's like, I have to just like have a day to chill. I'm like, I personally, I mean, I get it. I mean, I would have liked to sit on the beach that day too.
It's my fault because like, if I go get my blood flowing, like there's a gym in this house that we have. It's a huge house.
It was huge.
And if like I go get my blood flowing, I could probably play the next day, but I was so tired that like.
Yeah, your body's so mixed up.
Yeah, it's such a weird feeling, and I'm still feeling like that. Like,
now we're on the way. The back half of it.
The back half of it is even worse, in my opinion.
Coming back is a little bit harder.
Yeah,
probably.
I got used to it pretty quick out there.
Yeah,
just because you could go to bed early and you wake up, you tee off at 8:30 every morning, so you had to be up early anyways.
That is the one great thing.
Yeah.
It's so easy to wake up at like 4 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
It's awesome. You literally turn into an old person for like 4 days.
It's awesome.
You go to bed
I was telling Doug about that. He's like, I need to do this, and he's like, yeah, I've been doing it for 20 years. It's awesome, man. You can go to bed at like 7:30, which Doug out there goes to bed at like 5. I woke up at 2.
Yeah, he's like wakes up at 2 or 3 in the morning. It's
crazy.
Nuts. It's actually nuts. But yeah, so that's basically it for our fall. Now we got like what, 2 months?
Of nothing.
Somewhere in that neighborhood of absolute dip.
Yeah.
Just hanging out and practicing and trying to get a little better within, between seasons. Which I think my first 2 years here. Well, my freshman year, I kind of struggled with like the off time because I was like, I don't really know what to do with myself. Yeah, and you also don't really. It's also maybe harder to identify what you need to get better at when you're younger.
Yeah.
This time around, I feel like I have some things that I realistically like. I'm a better golfer than I was 2 years ago, but also I'm actually able to pinpoint some things that I could work on for the next 2 months, whereas I used to just have no idea.
Yeah.
I would just like show up and do the same thing every single day.
Yeah. Off season's cool. I think it's a really good spot for us. I think we're kind of beat up as a team. A couple of us are hurting. A couple of us have wrist problems,
sneak injuries,
back problems, and Achilles problems. So I think we can.
Who has Achilles problems?
Cam.
Oh yeah,
I
forgot about that.
We could take some time to kind of recover, take a debrief of our fall, and I think as a team we could all need to maybe pinpoint a couple spots we need to get better at as a team.
Yeah.
But yeah, the off season's dope.
It's not anything crazy either.
No.
We were really close to playing great on a couple of different occasions this fall. We played solid most of the time.
I mean, yeah, we got a young team. It's just you live and you learn.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that we had a lot of guys who, for Grayson, it was his first year in Power 4 golf, I guess you call it now. We don't have Power 5 anymore. But it was his first. I mean, he played at VCU last year, so he obviously played Division I golf before, but he'd never played, on maybe some of the fields that we play in week to week. Cam's also obviously no stranger to it at this point. He played all last year. But, guys like our freshmen like Matt Maloney and James Earl and Billy Abdow, like college golf's a different world.
It's a different beast.
And honestly, you don't realize it until maybe a little bit after the fact. But, it was funny when the night before every round or the morning of the round, we always go through our pin sheet and we mark down pins in the books. And this was Billy's first ever college tournament. He was playing as an individual for us. And he was like, holy crap, like this one's 24 on 3 from the left. How they put a pin
really going to be here?
Is that really where it's going to be? And we were like,
welcome to college golf.
Welcome to the show, kid. It's like every single pin sheet. I feel like every time I'm going through doing that, I'm always just looking at it and I'll be like, oh, that one, I'm not going to birdie that one.
4 on 3 from the left.
What? And water's in front of the green. Yeah, no, it's a different ball game.
Yeah. It is.
But I think everybody got to play.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is pretty unusual.
No, it never happens.
Everybody on our team got to play.
Yeah.
Maybe not in the lineup, but at least as an individual. So everybody got a little bit of a taste of kind of what it's like, and that's kind of what I was explaining to people, whenever people would ask me like, how's the team doing and everything. And I was like, we're doing completely fine because it's kind of just fall is not really one of those seasons where it's not a measuring. Well, it's kind of a precursor to what you're going to do for the spring, but there's a lot of development, like we said, that can happen in the 2 months.
Yeah.
And guys have to have experience. You have one in probably 100, 200 college golfers that comes out there their freshman year and just gets it.
Yeah.
Just
it's
balls
really
out.
hard. Yeah.
I mean, there's only one freshman of the year. And typically that race is just between like 3 or 4 guys.
Yeah.
So, it's tough for them. So, but I think everybody got a lot of good exposure and good experience to it. So I think for the spring we'll be pretty nicely set.
Yeah.
But, I think our team is a little bit better than our ranking.
Yeah, for sure.
College golf rankings now fluctuate so much.
Yeah.
Because there's no, I always feel, I explain this to people, we don't just go to Auburn to play Auburn.
Yeah.
We don't just go to Alabama to play Alabama. Like we play both of them at the same time.
Yeah.
So rankings in college golf are
It's really hard to judge what a team is until
it's weird,
especially in the fall.
And nobody plays the same amount of tournaments.
No.
There's no set. It's a really odd sport. I was actually talking about this to somebody not too long ago. I personally think college golf would be so much better if we did have conference play.
I think so too.
I think it would be sick if we would just go to, like I said, like Auburn for a weekend, or they would come to us and play us here.
Make the fall like high school golf was.
Like a scheduled Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Legit.
Match play for the fall and then stroke play in the spring.
I think it would be way better.
It'd be really cool.
Because I think it would be easier for people to watch too, because whenever you have team events in golf, it's sick.
Yeah.
Like we're playing team golf. We're all on a team. We share a locker room. Everything about this is, there's a lot of aspects of team here.
Yeah.
But we don't actually play together physically. Like we're all in separate groups and we all count for our own score that can help the team. But at the end of the day, we're all individuals.
Yeah.
So if individually you do well, then you're going to help the team. Individually you do bad, you're not going to help the team.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess the way other team sports try to break it down. But like we never have anything where me and Buck go and play best ball against somebody else, like another team of 2, which I think that would be sick.
It'd be really cool.
And also probably less travel days because we would just go there for like a weekend.
Yeah, and then we would have like home events too. Like, we don't ever have a golf tournament.
I've never played a golf tournament in Athens, Georgia. In college, which I think would be
really
sick.
Cool. Yeah,
I think it would be super sick. But that'll probably never happen.
I don't know. Maybe with all these changes in NIL, and if golf goes down the drain in college,
it could change a little bit. There's maybe at some point we'll have a, I think it would be cool to at least, I know they don't count for anything. You have to, for anything to count towards your ranking in college golf, I guess technically you have to play 2 stroke play days, 3 stroke play days or something.
36 holes, I think.
Yeah. You have to play at least 36 holes of stroke play. There's tournaments that do match play after stroke play.
Yeah.
Like our national championships match play. But I think it would be cool to add, like, if you're going to really do team golf, I think it'd be sick if we had an alternate shot and a best ball at every tournament.
Yeah, that'd be cool. My mom
then a singles.
always talks about that. Like she doesn't know what she's talking about with golf, but she always thought like at the PGA Tour level, like they should always have one tournament a year where it's like goofy golf. Like you play 9 holes of like a scramble, and then you play like alternate shot, and then you play like a wacky course like a greenskeeper's revenge.
Yeah.
Like
I think it'd be sick.
It'd be really entertaining.
Maybe that's what isn't there going to be teams on the PGA Tour this year?
Are there?
Yeah. Like there's going to be, I saw it on Golf Digest, like Atlanta has a team, LA has a team.
I thought that was that online simulator.
I don't know. I know there's people on the PGA Tour. Hold on, let me look at it. Because I know there was, are they going to do it in simulators?
Yeah, I think
with
it's
Tour
a
Pros?
simulator thing. Yeah.
That's in simulators?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, it's like online in big cities where they go and like play simulator golf.
And it's televised? And a match? I'm so confused about this. I saw it on Golf Digest today. Or maybe it was, I don't know. I don't remember. No. Nope. Can't find it anymore. No, I mean, it was out there somewhere. I saw it in one of my brain rot sessions.
Did you see that Rory said that because Trump got elected, that Liv and the PGA Tour are going to merge?
Really?
Trump's going to be a huge part of why they merge back together. I don't know why, but I saw that today.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I guess he's kind of involved in that stuff anyways. He loves golf.
Maybe put some more money into the PGA Tour so they can
That would be sick.
battle back and forth. I really hope they do merge soon.
It needs to happen.
Golf is so lame right now. It's just Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah. Which, I mean, is still kind of sick.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it personally. I don't, but I do think it does. You see, it's opened a door for new guys to come out on the PGA Tour that you haven't seen like ever.
Yeah.
And it's a different product, but you still miss, like, when majors come around, you forget what it's like to watch Dustin Johnson and like Bryson DeChambeau, every single week.
How little cares does Dustin Johnson care about golf?
Zero.
What do you think he does on a daily basis?
He fishes. Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think the dude just fishes all day.
I mean, he lives the life.
I think he just hangs. I think he does what basically everybody here
Dreams
jokes
of.
about. I'm just gonna
$300 million in the bank, and he just sits there. And
just gonna sit on the back of my boat and hang out in South Florida and play golf 8 times a year
in shorts.
It's
awesome.
They do play a pretty sick schedule too. Like the courses they play are unreal. I mean, it's not. There's serious caveats to that. Like, I also think, not being able to play in like Ryder Cups and President's Cups, that sucks.
Yeah, it's not. That's one of the only downfalls, I think.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna, there's tons of different dimensions to it, I guess. It's a sweet deal. I mean, if you're really into just like hanging out,
making money and hanging out.
Yeah, golf's just kind of a thing you're just good at, I guess. I mean, that money's hard to turn down.
Yeah.
It's really hard to turn down.
Dude.
Anybody that gets that email from Saudi Arabia is like, oh, I've got a really tough decision to make.
I want to know how that feeling is. You could just, I guess it's like any professional
the thing is
player.
if you get that opportunity, if you get asked to go over there, like, you've already done really well.
Yeah.
You're not just like, either you're a college player that's just an absolute baller.
That's what blows my mind about Nick Dunlap. Like, didn't they offer him like $30 million?
I don't know.
And the kid's 21, not even 21. Is he 20?
He's my age, so he's 21 or 20.
He might have been 20 at
We're
the
in the
time.
same grade.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It all depends on the person. And also, like, I don't really know how it shakes out, but I know that you make a lot more off of endorsements probably on the PGA Tour.
For sure.
So, I'm not going to say it's even, but for a guy like, it's probably, when Liv's offering somebody $150 million, like, you're never, like, really not, you're not going to make that much money at once on the PGA Tour.
That's just like show up. That's not even like play golf.
That's just
literally, you can go out there and play lefty.
Yeah.
We don't know, how it is, how that payout is though.
No.
Like, nobody's talked about the fact, whether it's, you go out there, you show up, and if you win a golf, so say you're getting paid $150 million, and you go and win a golf tournament, are you still getting paid $4 million on top of that, or are they just paying you the $150 million to show up and play? Nobody really has come out and said.
The thing that I heard is you don't make any money until you make the money. It's like your total earnings from golf add up, and you don't get paid at all until you match what they paid you to come.
They paid you. So
which doesn't make sense. Like, I think those are the smaller contracts. Like, they're not waiting. How much did they pay Rahm? $600 million?
Yeah, it would take a long time for Rahm
impossible
to make $600 million out there.
Yeah.
He would do it eventually.
For sure.
But
especially with the team aspect too.
Yeah.
Didn't his team win like almost every week?
Yeah. You can print dollars.
Him and Surratt.
Yeah, they ball out.
Yeah.
Surratt's gotten it pretty good.
Yeah.
He didn't sign for as much as other people had, but he's played really good golf out there, and he's on
a good team.
The
he wins
best
like
team.
$4 million.
Yeah.
Every 2 weeks.
So it's like, it really comes down to just what your deal is.
Yeah.
If you want to have a better track to play major golf, major championship golf, and play Ryder Cups and President's Cup, then it's probably not your deal.
Yeah.
Just
Where
is
do
what
you
it
guys
is.
lie morally and ethically with the whole aspect of, you know, the PGA Tour said, hey, if you go to Live Golf from like the early days, like you're not coming back, you're not playing this, you're not playing that. And as it looks like we're probably getting to a point where hopefully guys that left are going to be back on the PGA Tour, which I think we all want to see. It's like, well, they took all this money and now they get to come. Like, I was always a PGA Tour loyalist, and I don't really know where I stand with the whole thing now. But where do you guys lie with, like, hey, I was loyal to the PGA Tour. I was told they couldn't come back. They took a bunch of money.
Yeah.
And on one hand, good for them. They made a bunch of money, and now they're back with us. But it's like,
I mean, that would be really hard because, you know, like Hideki, he's like the biggest golf guy on that side of the world. He turned down didn't he turn down like $900 million?
It was like he was the biggest one next to Rahm.
Yeah.
Because Hideki, if Liv was able to sign Hideki, then it would have changed the landscape. Hideki was like, people didn't talk about how he was really the tipping point. Yeah. They were like, oh, DJ's leaving and Phil's leaving and Bryson left. None of those guys really mattered for viewership. I mean, they were all great. Like, we all loved watching them. But in the big scheme of the business, Hideki was the most important golfer to keep. Because he literally, if he goes, Japan goes. Mm-hmm. And that's a ton of viewership and money. Like, you know, he turned down $400 million. I mean, I'm sure I don't know enough about it.
Salvatore's turned down like $150 million, and then like a month later his back broke. Like, it is what it is. But at the same time, I don't know, when did Liv start?
It's like COVID.
Yeah, 2020.
Something like that.
I mean, the amount of money that's in golf now compared to before then is absurd. Like, the purses on the PGA Tour have almost doubled since Liv started. So, like, Liv's made the PGA Tour players more money than they think about, you know?
Well, I'm sure also, like, that's probably a major talking point when they're thinking about doing this merger too, is like, how much are we going to get paid since we stayed here?
Yeah.
And they've already been getting paid more, but, you know, I think there'll probably be a little spread the wealth sesh.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I don't think that they're just going to stiff all the PGA Tour guys and let all the Liv guys in back easily. I'm sure the Saudis will have to pay out some of the PGA Tour guys that stuck around too. But, you know, I think while Will Zalatoris turned down all that money, I do think he had a very good point. I don't remember the exact words that he used, but he said something along the lines of, you know, obviously, that's a lot of money, but compared to what I've been making already, is that life-changing? Yeah. Like, lifestyle changing? No.
Exactly. And that's why, like, the main reason why people stayed. I
mean, Scotty would not be living any differently whether he was making $1 billion on Liv right now or if he was made $62 million this year or whatever it was. He's going to be the same dude.
What's the difference between $75 million and $200 million at the same time, you know?
I mean, it's a lot. I mean,
it's a huge number.
There's really no contingency with either.
No.
You know, but
at the end of the day, I think within reason, you can only spend so much money today.
Yeah.
And it's like, if you're not out acting like an asshole and buying like a Rolls Royce every single day, it's like, that
you can't spend the money that they're making.
Yeah. It's not going to make.
It's in the big scheme of things, it's not that big of a difference.
Yeah.
I mean, $125 million more I'd say the only difference would be generational wealth.
What's crazy,
I think that's why Harold Varner kind of did it.
Yeah. But what's crazy to me is the retirement stuff. Like Phil, that blew my mind. That, like, I wonder how much money the PGA Tour was going to, or how much he had in his retirement savings with the PGA Tour, and how much he lost.
Probably
so
a lot.
Much money.
And that's probably why his check was so big going over there.
Yeah, because what is it they put, like, every time you make a cut?
I think it's $15,000 every time you make a cut after a certain amount of years of being on tour.
Yeah.
Like maybe your first year.
Just straight into your savings. It's just growing. Like, I bet Phil had.
They got a lot of money.
Oh my gosh.
I never realized how good that retirement deal was.
It's so good.
$15,000. I mean, if you're a guy that just habitually makes cuts, you don't really
play for 5 years and then just wait until your retirement.
Yeah. I think you have to wait until a certain age though.
Yeah, it's like
to get that money.
Or 64.
50 something.
Is it?
Maybe. But you have to also not be playing golf. So if you're one of those guys that goes, from what I understand, I don't really know a ton about it, but I know also if you're a guy that, if you go from the PGA Tour to the Senior Tour, I don't think once you get to that age out on the Senior Tour, you get to touch that retirement fund. I think you have to be fully out of golf for a certain number of years before they give it to you. But when you get
I don't
it,
know if that's legal. Like, I don't think the PGA Tour can just like save this, like Phil's retirement for that long and then just not give it to him. Like, I'm pretty sure when you make it on the PGA Tour, you sign like.
I think they had a pretty big lawsuit about that.
Yeah. Who won? Do you know?
I have no clue. I just know when you get on the tour, you kind of sign your life away.
Yeah.
A little bit, just as you would with any other, sports team. It's part of your job. But I mean, I'm pretty sure they went. That's why when Liv came out, people started going over there. A lot of things that the general public did not know about the PGA Tour started coming out, and like how you have to sign a lot of stuff away. I don't really know exactly what you sign away, but I just know that it's not just like, obviously you're an independent contractor, which is great. You make your own schedule and blah, 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 this, that, and the other, but they still kind of, own your deal at the end of the day. So that's why it was a big problem in the first place when it wasn't just like, oh, you're betraying us. This is like legally like a big issue. Like you just jumping ship like this. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's interesting. I'd be interested to see how all that shakes out. It seems like everybody on both sides wants it to happen at this point. And I don't know. I feel like every time we've started talking about mergers, they've just gone away in a couple months. Like, I'm pretty sure it's the whole entire reason John Rahm went over there in the first place was literally he accepted all that money because he was promised, apparently, that they were going to merge within a year. And that still hasn't happened. And I don't know if anybody else has noticed this. I don't think it's really that hard to see. John Rahm looks absolutely miserable.
He hates it.
Like, just doesn't look like it's very fun to him because he's one of those guys that just likes the competitive juice. Like, $600 million. It's a lot of money to turn down. He was going to be able to have his cake and eat it too, and it just hasn't happened yet. Yeah. So, I think it'll be great. I think it will happen.
It has to happen.
I think it has to happen because I think it's just going to, choke out golf if it doesn't eventually, just between people like picking sides and younger. And this whole entire generation of players that we're coming up with, too, guys our age are, if you have an exceptional college career, what path are you going to take? Yeah. Which guy are you going to be? So yeah, there's a whole bunch of different, there's a whole bunch of red tape there that they got to cut through and figure out. But, I think it would be great to watch those guys other than just like 4 times a year and also have them on Ryder Cup teams and President's Cup teams. Yeah. But, there's another thing. Apparently the PGA Tour just proposed, which I don't know if this is really public knowledge, but they proposed it that there's going to be no more Monday cues for PGA Tour. Yeah, apparently. I heard Mookie talking about it. I forgot who told him that. But there's going to be no more Monday cues, and they were talking about limiting the fields even more.
See, I don't like that at all. I don't like what are they called? Top 72.
The elevated events?
I hate the elevated events. I think it's the dumbest concept in the world.
Well, what I realized this entire year, like watching it, I was like, dude, if you're not in the elevated events, you're never screwed. Playing golf.
You can't make your cut. Like, my swing coach, Scott Hamilton, works with Trace Crow, and he didn't have any status last year and went down there and won final stage of Q School. So he had PGA Tour card, but it was like the bottom of the barrel, like lowest tour card you could get. He was playing Corn Ferry events because he couldn't get into PGA Tour events.
You got nothing to play in.
Yeah, just to stay like competitively eligible to play golf.
I mean, you basically have what I guess B-Todd calls it the Island Tour.
Yeah,
which is like Puerto Rico, Bermuda, maybe a couple other ones. Yeah, smaller. There's like 5 events a year that you're absolutely going to get into. But I mean, it seems like those guys really only got like 8 or 9 starts.
Yeah, Trace Crow top 10 like three times in his first PGA. Like, he only got 6 starts. He barely kept his card.
Yeah,
it's just, I don't think it's fair. I mean, with how everything's shaken out now, there's a lot more opportunities to get a job playing professional golf. But I don't think the jobs are as good as
they're not as sustainable as they used to be.
It's really hard.
It seems like
if you're not in the top 100 or top 70.
Top 70.
World, which is really hard, but
it's crazy.
Good for the.
That's why I always think
dogs.
Like the levels of it are insane because you've got these guys, just I lost my train of thought. I just had a Joe Biden. just totally blank. What happened? You're talking about that top 70 bubble. Oh, that's what it was. I was going to talk. And we're back. The levels of professional golf are actually nuts because, like, you get out on a Corn Ferry, which is tough. Mm-hmm. And then you know, say you have a great year on Corn Ferry and you're one of those top 30 guys, you get your card. The mountain that you're faced with once you get your PGA Tour card of keeping it is ridiculous.
You got to win a fall event.
You got to win.
Yeah.
I mean, Jake Knapp, which other guys from the Corn Ferry this past year did you see having success on tour other than Jake Knapp? And he still had an amazing year. And I don't even think he made East Lake.
No, he didn't.
You know? So it's like, it's brutal. So when Mookie was talking about that on the range, I forgot who told him what the proposal was, but you know, I was basically like, oh, so they just don't want anybody to turn pro anymore. Like, that's kind of your pipeline. If you don't have any status anywhere, or, you know, you're not having a great season on Corn Ferry or Latin America or whatever it may be, or you're just one of those guys that's in the limbo of professional golf, like, you got to have Monday cues. Yeah. You got to at least be able to try to Monday qualify for different tournaments. Because you don't have Monday cues for the elevated ones, do you?
No.
So, there's nothing, you know. There's already a limited amount of which I guess is why they're wanting to do away with them.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, like, the amount of times a guy that Monday cues, it changes their life. Yeah. Like, this is a really small example, but, like, Creasy up there in Canada, like, he didn't have any status and Monday cued into that, where was it? I don't know. But he almost won the golf tournament and got full status up there. Yeah. It changes your life.
Exactly. The biggest thing out there too is access. If you don't have access, then you're just screwed.
Yeah, you can't do anything.
I mean, you just got nothing.
No.
You know, so yeah, you know, that's a big, exactly. That's a big deal. Yeah. I don't know if they were talking about doing it with Monday cues on that level.
No.
They were just a PGA example. Tour. But yeah, exactly. Like,
just how it changed your life.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
There's been a few, I mean, like, you take a guy like Nate Lashley too, who Monday cued in the Rocket Mortgage a couple years ago and then won.
Yeah, it changes your life.
He goes from being a journeyman to all of a sudden having tour status for 2 years. Yeah. That's a big deal for a lot of people. So I don't know. Hopefully they get it. Hopefully they get all this stuff shaken out, you know, in the next couple of years to where maybe by the time we get out there, it's a little bit more stable. Yeah. But turning pro the last couple of years has been a real headache.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's an absolute rat race. Yeah. It seems like, but you know, it's a fun one. Yeah. It's kind of what we've signed up for after college.
Another cool thing about money in golf is that you could actually live a life and be on Corn Ferry for a couple of years. Like, when we were growing up, you saw guys on Corn Ferry, and if you didn't get your tour card, you were eating bread and water for dinner.
Bread and beans. I'm having a nice sandwich.
Yeah. You were broke. I mean, like Trent Phillips, sorry, Trent, but almost got his PGA Tour card. I think he finished 32 or 33 he needed to be in the top 30, and he made $250,000 out there last year.
Yeah. This is the same thing with like Jackson Suber. Yeah. Last year, he got his tour card this year out of Ole Miss. But you know, like last year he was like number 33 and he was really high up all year. I think he finished top 5 a couple of times and came close to winning, and a bunch of top 10s and top 20s. Yeah. He made close to like $300,000. Yeah. You know, and he didn't get his tour card, but he still had a job for the next year, which was great. Yeah. Like, you can kind of, if you're playing good on Corn Ferry, then you can actually make a real living. Yeah. You used to not be able to do that.
No.
It was and it's still top heavy. Yeah. But 10 years ago, it was honestly more like Canada is now. Yeah. I mean, really. Yeah. I mean, there was a guy out on PGA Tour Canada this year who won twice and made $80,000, which that's as, you know, small time as it gets for PGA Tour. So, you know, there's money going around. I mean, you obviously don't want to stay. You got windows for different things and everything. You don't want to stay out there for too long, but there is the possibility of doing that, which is nice. Yeah. But yeah.
Got a couple minutes before we wrap it up. This episode, plans for the off season. I know you guys traveling to play golf over the course of the weekend. Any like golf plans outside of like playing competitively, or like doing any hunting, or any big plans for the coming weeks while you're off?
I am going to, I haven't finalized the date or the location yet, but I'm going to go trout fishing up in either North Georgia or North Carolina somewhere in the next couple weeks. Take some time off in the mountains with no cell service and get away for a couple days, which I'm really looking forward to.
Sounds perfect.
Yeah.
Might go fly fishing on Sunday.
Oh, we're going to the same spot actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Different.
Helen.
Yeah, different ventures, but
Yeah. So that's
nobody else go there. That's just our spot. But
I mean,
my uncle
but
was a pretty successful man in the business world, and he's a member at the course in the Bahamas. He texted me yesterday, asked if I wanted to go play in their pro-am. He is pro.
Yeah. Preach.
And it's right during finals week, but I might go over there and hang out for a couple days in the Bahamas.
That would
play
be
some
nice.
golf. Yeah.
That'd be nice.
That'd be sick.
Yeah.
Especially that time of the year.
Yeah, it'd be
Start
cool.
getting cool here and go down in the warmth. What about any upcoming football games? Any travel plans to go to Oxford or?
I was thinking about it. I just, I don't know. Honestly, this is so lame. I haven't been home. I'd call Athens home at this point. I've been here for 2.5 years now. I haven't been home in I don't know, a long time. I mean, for an extended amount of time, and I kind of just want to have a nice chill weekend. I also I don't mind away weekends at all. I like how it kind of quiets down and it's just chill. Mm-hmm. And I've got one of my roommates that's staying here with me. So I think we're just going to kind of hang out. But Oxford is a ton of fun. Yeah. Though. Oxford's awesome.
I've heard good things.
Yeah, it's a pretty special place.
Mm-hmm.
Score predictions for this weekend?
Huh?
Score predictions for this weekend?
Georgia's going to cover. What was the line? -3.5?
I think it's 2.5 now.
2.5 now?
Best George
gosh.
Lame quote of all time. Good teams win. Great teams
Great
cover.
teams cover. That's a fact. Look at Alabama, the 2010s.
Yeah.
They covered
Mm-hmm.
every time. Yeah, that's, man, I don't know. Probably, what was the score of the Texas game?
I mean, it's got to be like,
It's going to be like 34,
34,
20
26 or
Yeah, 34,
27. That's
yeah.
every Georgia game. But
We're kind of in that neighborhood of 30 pointers. I
Yeah.
feel like that's kind of where we come on strong.
yeah, third quarter.
Yeah. I think, I'm going to say, is there a scoregami in the 30s? I'm going to say 36-23.
Is that a scoregami?
Maybe.
Could
Sounds
be.
like a scoregami.
Yeah.
That would be a really odd score.
Mhm.
So I'm going to go 36-23.
I'm going to stick there with you. I like 34-27.
Yeah. That's a good, I feel like that actually could very well happen.
Yeah.
So we'll see how it shakes out.
Mm-hmm.
But the Dogs.
Yeah, Dogs on top.
And so that's basically all we got for you guys today. Now we are going to welcome on PGA Tour Pro Sepp Straka. What's going on, everybody? We have a very special guest on today. We have two-time PGA Tour winner, the current world number 35 ranked player. Played on the team here from 2011 to 2016. Sepp Straka, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. So we'll just kind of start off with your junior golf days here a little bit, talking about your recruitment to Georgia and whatnot. Was Georgia always the first choice for you? Were you highly recruited coming out of high school, or were you looking at other places, or was this kind of your spot all along?
Yeah, Georgia was always my number one. It was always more of a whether they'd have me kind of thing, but I wasn't very highly recruited. I was a decent junior golfer, but I wasn't great. But my brother was pretty good, twin brother, and they started watching him, and then through him started watching me, and I realized that I was decent. Took a shot on me, and it worked out great. Great for me.
Awesome. So you got to Georgia, after playing junior golf and everything, and I talked to Mookie about this a little bit. I know you struggled your first years here, and in your last, did you redshirt one of those years?
I did my junior year, yeah. So actually, my freshman year was decent. I had a pretty good chance of making the postseason team. Played a lot and played some pretty good golf, but just missed out on the postseason team. But then, had some issues. Chipping got really bad. Got a bit of a case of the chipping yips there my junior year, and ended up redshirting my junior year. And then, from there on, started figuring the chipping out a little bit. At least was able to hit the green, which is a start. and I was hitting it pretty good then. So I started playing some better golf and got into the lineup a lot more.
Yeah, because that was going to be my question was, what was the big switch, those last couple of years? Because obviously you were an All-American in 2016, so you had a great year that year. In 2015, you guys made it to, that was 2015 that you guys made it to the semis, correct?
Yeah, so, that's right.
I was going to ask what, the big change was, but, so you hit the ball really well and chipping was kind of the thing that was the break.
Yeah, exactly. Like even my first 3 years, I hit the ball really well. Just could not chip. My putting wasn't great. But Michael Cromie, one of my teammates, he kind of helped me on the mental side of chipping, I guess, and just told me to dumb it down and focus on my routine. And the main thing is I stopped practicing. I'd spent hours there in the winter from chipping from the range to the putting or to the chipping green. That's not a great place to be when it's kind of wet, grainy, and you don't know where the bottom is. That's a bad combo. So kind of worked my way into that a little bit. But I kind of quit practicing a little bit and slowly got better at chipping. I was still not a good chipper, but it was good enough to kind of put up some decent scores, I guess.
Yeah.
So just kind of going back to the 2015 national championship, obviously I know the year before you guys had a very talented team. On paper, it was great. I think you guys had Joey Garber and Keith and, a few other guys on that team that were, really solid players. And then, 2015 rolls around and on paper, the team might not have been as good as it was the year prior. But, the postseason came around and you guys started playing some really good golf and, obviously made it through to nationals and had a great week that week. What would you say your favorite memory from that 2015 week was?
Yeah, 2015 was a funny year. It was interesting. We felt like we either won a tournament or we finished near last all year, and we had the firepower. I mean, we played some really good golf some weeks, and then we'd show up and finish. I think we did finish last in Vegas. Might have been Hacker's first time finishing last as a head coach. So that's not really a good record to hold, but no, it was, we had 5 guys that, we was pretty deep lineup at the time. Actually, I think we had 6 or 7 guys that played some pretty good golf. And the 5 guys that we took, we had a lot of really good players and we were playing some good golf going into it. And, golf, that's a huge thing. If your form's good, that's so big going into it. But some good memories. I know we went down a little early and played some golf for Ryuji. Hung out with him down there in Tampa, and that was a lot of fun. That was a fun trip. We kind of just went a few days early, played 18 the first day, maybe 9 the second day, and just did a little bit of practicing. And that was a great time. And the actual tournament was just awesome. The course was sick. Concession down there around the greens was a nightmare for me. It was tight, grainy. I was just getting out of my heebie-jeebies, and I think it might have been an advantage actually because I was just trying to chip it on the green. A lot of guys were being aggressive with their chips, and I was really just trying to hit the green with my chips and take it where it went. And we had a good time down there.
Oh, that's too good. So just kind of springboarding off the whole team golf thing, you played in the Ryder Cup last year and also the Olympics this past summer. This is just kind of a naive question from me. Were you more nervous on the first tee of the Ryder Cup or the Olympics?
Ryder Cup for sure. Yeah. First tee Ryder Cup's the most nervous I've ever been by far. Really not even close. It didn't help that Shane was my partner and he was supposed to, he had been there before. He's the veteran, supposed to kind of calm me down. And then right before I tee off on Friday, Victor chips in on the first from the green on number 1. And Shane's just going crazy and my heart rate just went through the roof. I couldn't even put my hands at that point. I went and snap hooked it in the hay and Shane said, well, thank God that's over with and I can play some golf.
Of course.
That's funny. Was there any weird feelings? When did you move to America? What year?
When I was 14. Yeah, when I was 14. But I'd spent a lot of time in America. My mom's American. So I'd spent a lot of time over here all the summers pretty much growing up. But really moved when we were 14.
Was there any like weird, like, I was wondering, like, if y'all were in the locker room talking and somebody, like, all of them had accents, and then you're sitting there with your Valdosta kind of redneck accent. Like, I was wondering if anybody was giving you any crap for being on the European team.
Yeah, a few people. Shane definitely. I think on the practice trip, when you get to the golf course, the U.S. team goes right, we go left. And I got off the bus, and Shane grabs me from behind. He goes, "No, you got to go over here to the left. You're going for Europe this year." So yeah, they definitely had a little fun with me. But no, I didn't have any weird feelings. You know, I grew up playing in Austria. I feel like I'm kind of a product of the Austrian golf system, and I've played a lot of tournaments for Austria. You know, going back to the junior golf days. The junior European team championships, the men's European team championships, all that stuff. So didn't really have any weird feelings there.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously with that Ryder Cup, you guys were huge underdogs. Just on paper, you know, from the American side, there was, you know, some big names and probably some names that people didn't know on the European side. What would you say, like just in your experience, like what do you think the big difference for y'all that week was?
Yeah, we were definitely considered underdogs. We didn't really feel that way, though, because we had a lot of guys playing some good golf going into it. You know, all of us played at Wentworth 2 weeks before the Ryder Cup, and all of us made the cut. And I think 10 of us or 9 of us finished in the top 12 or something crazy like that. So there was a lot of guys playing some really, really good golf. And the American side, I feel like, didn't really play a whole lot leading into it, so we didn't really know what to expect from them. But we knew that we were playing some really good golf going into that week, and yeah, we came out swinging. We came out really hot. That first day was huge. You know, getting off to fast starts and match play is big, and we did that all the first 3 sessions. So I think that was a big thing.
Yeah,
Without a doubt.
I had a really weird grasp on one player on y'all's team. That was Ludwig. Have you gotten a chance to play any golf with Ludwig?
Yes. Yeah. I've played with him. The first time I played with him, I think, was maybe 3 or 4 years ago. He got into the RSM when he was still an amateur. I played a practice round with him and just immediately knew this guy was different. I mean, I've never seen somebody hit a driver the way he does. It's pretty incredible. I'd put it right up there with Rory's driving. It's really something to see. You know, it's just the consistency of the ball flight. It's just same thing over and over again, and it just goes so far. So,
oh my gosh,
yeah. He's a special talent, and he'll be fun to watch here in the next few years.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough. My first tournament of my sophomore year, I played with him in the final round at Frederica in St. Simons, and I was a young kid that had no idea what was going on. He was the number 1 player in the world. And I was like, there's no chance I can't beat this guy. And I step up on number 1 and hit a driver out there, and then hit a wedge like this to back left pin, and he pull drawed his driver into the water, made bogey, and I was like, holy I might get this guy. And I hit 18 greens and 14 fairways and shot like 68, and he shot 62. Didn't miss a shot after that. It was the craziest. It was the best round of golf I've ever witnessed in my life, even though Frederica's not the hardest spot. But yeah, his driver is insane. And the craziest thing for me, and it's with you too, you have a really good routine. But his routine was the best thing I've ever seen in my life. It was within milliseconds. Every single time with every club through the bag. It was crazy to me.
Yeah, it is. It's the same thing, the same pre-shot routine, the same he sets it just short of ball right before he hits it, and then goes in there and just looks effortless for him. Really, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
he was the one who got me to do like the trigger that I do now.
Yeah,
because I would always sit for my first couple years here. I would sit over the ball forever.
Yeah,
like I would sit over the ball for probably 10 seconds, and I don't know how I got into that habit, but when I was watching him in the Masters last year, I was like, well, you know, he would always, you know, 1 tap inside of the ball, and then you put behind it and you just go.
Yeah.
And it's so reactive. It's pure.
Yeah. But, I mean, I thought it was really crazy that I played with him in 2022 as an amateur, and then he was playing in the Ryder Cup in 2023. It's crazy. I think he was one of the first.
It was just like, it was 3 months. It was 3 months after I literally played in the group behind him at the national championship that May. And in September, I was watching him on television playing the Ryder Cup. It was
Crazy.
very odd.
Insane.
It was very, very odd.
Yeah.
But kind of switching gears from that, obviously I know you were teammates with our now assistant coach, Mookie DeMoss, and you guys are also great friends. He told me a story one time. I know you love Krispy Kreme. He told me a story one time about maybe it was y'all's first time at Q School or something like that, and he might have played good the first day, and maybe you hadn't, and you ended up getting a dozen Krispy Kreme and kicking his ass.
Yeah, so we were in Dothan first stage, and I think I shot like 75. I played terrible, and I was pissed off, and I was staying in a Days Inn right next to Krispy Kreme. So I just ran down to the Krispy Kreme and got me half a dozen donuts, and obviously crushed them all. I was pissed off, so frustration eating. But then the next day I played great. I'm like, well, got to go back to Krispy Kreme. Play good the next day. Well, got to go back, and then end up making it through the final round. I was like, well, I better go back and get me one more just to top off the week. So,
of course, that was the difference.
That week.
That was the difference.
Doug tells me that you could eat in a sitting 3 dozen boxes of Krispy Kreme if you had to. You think that's...
Well, if they're hot, for sure.
You think that's a good line?
Hot, definitely.
36 hot glazed donuts?
Like air.
Well, you can kind of just inhale them at that point because they all just like crush down.
I think I have to take the under
just
on
breathe
that.
them in.
There's no way you can eat 36 Krispy Kreme donuts in one sitting.
I could do it after I eat a meal, probably.
most stories that Doug tells of former UGA golfers, it's like the 5-pound bass that turns into a 7-pound, and then by the time it gets to us, it's like a 23-pound bass, and it's the biggest one ever caught. Like he tells.
We'll hear about him catching Moby Dick.
Yeah.
he tells us that he swears that Bubba drove the green on 9 at Jennings Mill. I don't know if that was a thing when you guys were here or not, but he constantly explains to us how it happened.
He might have skipped a generation because I haven't heard that one yet, but there's no way you can't drive that green.
For the viewers at home, this is a 520-yard par 5.
Especially back then, 90 they didn't even have
couldn't do it.
And he was hitting a slice. It wouldn't be a hard draw. It's a spinny slice that he has to dogleg around the
Also, this hole takes a dead straight turn left. Like just the hardest turn across the water. I mean, realistically, the force carry, if you were going to go, not to mention, just left of the tee box is houses. You can't even hit it over the houses. Like legit, this is impossible to do. The force carry in line with it's probably like 450 yards. Yeah. So it's like
he probably hit driver one day and hit it over the creek, and then from there it got into he drove the green and made two. Probably made the putt too, didn't he?
Probably.
Yeah, exactly. Mookie was telling me another story about how you guys would go out there and y'all would play, but y'all wouldn't finish the hole. Y'all would, like on a Tuesday, y'all would go out there and play and just like continually. How would that work?
Yeah, we kind of messed around. So every ball had to touch the green, but then you had to drop it off the green. You just keep playing the whole way around. So you have to touch all the greens, but you just keep playing. So it's kind of dicey from 10 to 11. You kind of had to just hit it over the road there.
What about from 1 to 2?
No, there's some dicey ones out there.
But what did y'all do from 9 to 10?
It was fun.
I guess that isn't that
the
bad.
key was you want to hit a stinger and barely touch the green and get it running through a little bit. That way you didn't have to wait to putt off the green. And
that is hysterical.
That's funny.
There was one more that I wanted to ask your side of, because I called Mookie earlier today and I was like, can you re-explain the story about you guys having to hit the fan once before, like whoever hit the fan last had to run and touch the and I got the video. Mookie sent me the video that Grayson took on his phone.
Way.
It's a long way. Explain in your words what happened with that.
We were just messing around, hitting the flags, and y'all know Mookie. I mean, he's got the best wedge game ever.
Yeah.
And we were trying to hit the fan on the chipping green back there from the putting green, and it was probably about a 60, 70-yard shot if I had to guess. And sure enough, I whiffed, and Mookie just freaking nails it. Had to sprint all the way out to, I think it was number 2 flag or something stupid like that. And I'm not the most in shape guy, so run all the way out there, finally get there, touch it, and they have a cart, and they were going to leave me out there. They were going to let me. Obviously, I got pretty pissed. Y'all probably saw the video of that. But ended up finally getting on the cart, and probably didn't talk to Mookie for a little while until he lost his feet again.
He said you were pretty chapped after that one.
I was pissed. I was about most mad I've been at Mookie.
See, he's our coach now. I could only imagine being on a team with him because he's always got like a random challenge
game. He's the most competitive human being I've ever met in my life.
Yeah. He'll always come up with some random thing for you to do. Like, and it always gets you roped in.
Yeah.
Really. Like, it's kind of crazy. He's really good at it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I know. It was literally nonstop for 5 years. It was nonstop. He'd come up with some stupid game. I mean, we played for more. We played for more when we were just trying to throw balls into the holes than we did the actual putting contest. So yeah, it was always something with Mook, but he was an awesome teammate to have because it never got boring. No matter what we did, there's a competition there, and yeah, it definitely probably made us better.
Without a doubt. So this was kind of the last question that I had for you. And we asked this to B Todd when he got in here as well. What would you say the biggest difference between just run-of-the-mill college golf and the PGA Tour is? Like, what's the biggest gap you see, whether it could be, chipping, putting, driving, whatever it may be? What do you think the biggest difference there is?
I would say, it's hard to say it's one thing because everybody in college is good at something and everybody on the PGA Tour is good at something, right? So for me in college, obviously it would have been chipping and putting that kind of lacked. But I would say everybody on the PGA Tour is really good at something, and they don't. It's very consistent, so that kind of stays throughout their whole year usually. I mean, obviously it's golf, so you have your ups and your downs, but like B Todd, for instance, he's going to be very accurate off the tee, and he's going to chip it well. So those are the things he does really well, and he always does them well. So I would say that's probably the biggest things. It's the consistency of the things that you do well, and learn. And most of the guys out there have figured out how they play golf and what works for them. Like for me, my first couple of years on tour, I was not a very accurate driver. I was decent, but I hit it a lot longer than I do now. And about 3 years ago or so, my iron game got really good, and I was like, I just got to get this ball in the fairway. The more fairways I can hit, the more chances I can give myself, and kind of changed my game in that way a little bit. Hit it a little shorter, but got way more accurate off the tee. And so I'd say that's probably the main thing, is just the consistency that you bring in your abilities, I would say, is the main thing. But honestly, nowadays, college kids, they're so good at golf that the line has never been thinner between the PGA Tour and college golf, I would say.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
My last question for you, going back to Mookie and competitiveness, what do you think y'all two's all-time ping pong record is?
Well, y'all should ask him what happened at the farm in Madison. Was this about a year ago now? That's the last time we played. It was not good. It was not good. I think we must have played probably 15 games, and he didn't win a single one. He didn't even sniff him by the end. It was real bad. So
when you started playing him, were you using that juiced racket that he has?
Yeah. Do you play the spinny paddle?
My racket, so he carries mine around. I think it's probably in the Boyd Center, if I had to guess. But that thing is awesome.
We heard Doug giving him crap about that one time, but Mookie's never brought it up to us. He whoops all of our. He whoops
shocking,
us.
Man.
Mookie,
when he wins something, he's chirping all over the place, but when he loses, you just never hear about it.
Well, that's basically all the questions we got for you today. We were going to do one quick segment. Producer Patrick, do you have some random blind draft questions for us?
All right, so we're gonna do a blind draft. Sepp, do you know what that is? Where I'll throw you a few things, and you don't really know what's coming next. You're gonna rank it. Number 1 being the best option, number 5 being the worst. And the topic is classic Athens restaurants. So does that make sense to you, Sepp?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. All right, so we're going to start off with a classic here. It's I tried to list off some stuff that you should hopefully know and nothing too new. I'm not sure when the last time you were in Athens, but this one's definitely around. Last Resort Grill. So who wants to start? We'll give Sepp the chance
Once
to go
you
first.
rank something, you can't put it down again, right? Like it's solid.
Yeah, so if you throw
Set
down
in
Last
stone.
Resort Grill as number 1,
Yeah, that's
every
it.
other option coming up, it's 2 through 5.
Okay, I'm going to go with 4.
Last
I was going to be
resort?
nice and let Sepp go first, but
Oh,
it's all right.
yeah.
You jumped the gun there.
Well, I feel like we could all make our own list.
Yeah.
I'm going 1 just because of the white chocolate cheesecake.
My man, that's not my man right there.
Early and often. It does have great dessert. I will say
does.
that place wins with the dessert.
Yeah.
And that's Cecilia. She makes all that stuff and she brings it in. That's not even Last Resort making. It's not even in-house made, but she's got a little side business and she makes all those.
Yeah, it's good.
So
And the Vidalia bacon dressing.
yeah,
It's
Vidalia.
really good.
He knows Last Resort
Yeah.
like the back of his hand. Right?
This is
That's
the
what I'm talking
perfect thing
about.
for him.
All right, so Sepp, you said number 1,
Yeah.
and then
I think I'd go 2.
I'm gonna go 4.
all right,
I'm gonna leave the spaces open.
all right. Second one, a little wild card here. Sauce House Barbecue.
Sep, go ahead.
So,
I'll go 5. I'm going to go 5.
I think it's pretty over. I think doggone good barbecue is up there. That's the best barbecue in town without a doubt. I'm going 5 for Sauce House.
y'all are hating on Sauce House. I kind of rock with it.
Dude, have
But
you ever been-
I'm going to go 4,
4.
obviously.
Have you ever been to Doggone Good?
I haven't. You need to take me there.
Best in the game.
Oh, you got
Dog-
to go.
So I'm going to go
Dog's
4.
good, but fresh air just outside of town. That's my
Haven't been to that one.
I mean,
fresh
neither.
air. Only open Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and it's.
Oh, I bet that's good.
That's gotta be
Yeah.
good if
We're
they're
gonna do a little field trip one of these.
Yeah.
3
weekends.
days
That's
a
fresh
week.
air.
Yes.
All right. Next one is Chuck's Fish.
I'm going to do 2. I'm filling out the edges here.
Oh man, I'd probably have to go 2 for that one as well. That one's pretty decent.
That was my 1. That's what I was waiting for, and I got it.
Chuck's
That's
one.
my 1. That's my Chuck's.
Interesting.
All right, little late night special here when we've maybe some people have gotten a little sloppy. Little Italy pizza.
Little Italy.
At what time? That could be either 1 or 5.
Exactly. I feel like at 1 in the morning, that's a number 1 right there.
I mean, I'm gonna go. I mean, I got 3.
Just because I haven't been drinking.
4.
Yeah, going 4 just because the time of day right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'd say, well, I guess I can't put it at 1. I'd have to say 3. I've only been there once in my life.
Yeah,
But-
I think I classify it as good drunk pizza.
I've only been there once, but I only have 3 and 5, so I got to go 5.
Yeah,
Little Italy.
it's in that range.
All right, last one of my personal favorites, very underrated, South Kitchen and Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Have you been to that one, Sep?
It's 3 then. I've went once, yeah, a couple years ago, I think. I'm putting it 3. I think I like my lineup really.
I like mine too, but
I
South
kind of
being
netted
at
out.
3.
I ended up putting Little Italy above Last Resort, but I guess South Kitchen is my number 1.
That's the beauty of the blind draft.
Nobody in the Athens food
Sep,
scene
was
sees
there
this.
one that wasn't on the list that you were kind of low key hoping that was going to make an appearance or a favorite in Athens that we didn't mention?
Yeah, Kelly's. Jamaica.
Kelly's
Yeah.
is gonna be Kelly's.
Yeah.
The jerk chicken.
It's incredible.
I have not been to Kelly's.
I haven't either.
Y'all haven't been- it's
That's
unbelievable.
criminal.
Yeah, it's actually great. Well, we have this red card thing now where we get like $15 4 times a week, like to go eat, and Kelly's isn't on there.
Yeah.
Which stinks because like
Really?
yeah, that would be like, I mean, Subway's on there, Chipotle, like all those types of spots are on there. Like Kelly's would be perfect for. I might go eat Kelly's tonight.
Oh.
We should go after this, genuinely.
Yeah, you should go for sure.
It's impeccable. Sepp, thank you for coming on, brother. I appreciate it. That's we're trying to get we're trying to get some more tour guys on here, so we appreciate you hopping on for about 20 or 30
Absolutely.
minutes.
Thanks for coming, Sepp.
Y'all keep playing some good golf.
Yes, sir.
We'll do.
Absolutely.
You too.
All right. See you guys.
Have a good night.
See you, Sepp.
See ya.